Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about my bear market shopping list, preparing myself for in case we are in a bear market. And if we're not in a bear market and it's confirmed we're not, and we're on that uptrend, these are still good buys at the buying levels that they are at right now. And then we're going to talk about my checks and balances for what I'm looking for when it comes down to picking these altcoins, especially when it comes down to the bear market. So before we get into talking about all of that, I would like to ask you guys, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers. If you guys want to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment what you guys think down below, and while you guys are down there, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily. And you guys can ask, how does that Patreon group works? As you guys know, we have been getting into some bangers of plays that you guys can check out. You guys do not want to miss out on any of the plays that we've been getting into, especially if the market starts to turn back around and get more bullish. We're going to be getting into some crazy bangers. While you're there, you guys can also pick up my Essentials to Mastering Tokenomics. This will help you guys pick out the next gem in your cryptocurrency portfolio. Once you're able to understand market cap, FDV, circulating supply, narrative vesting, all of that is very important to picking out the next gem in your cryptocurrency portfolio. So the links for that will be in the description down below. And if everything looks good for you guys can sign up for the Patreon group, test it out, see if it's for you guys. As you guys know, we are a pretty good group and we have been hitting on some pretty good bangers. Lastly, if you need a place to store your cryptocurrency, a hardware wallet, I use Tangent Wallet. Use code Everything Altcoins, save yourself 10%, and let's get right into the video, guys. So if we're in a bear market, you guys know we have to prepare for the upcoming bull market. And if we're not in a bear market and we're still in a bull market, we still have to prepare for altcoins that we see at the lows that we can buy up for the next run up. So we will be talking about my checks and balances here. I'm looking at 3 things for me to pick out my next gems in my cryptocurrency portfolio. And let's go over it. So first, you got real world relevancy, right? Practical use cases and adoption. This is more so tied to everything that's happening in the real world. You can look at these narratives like AI, RWA, agents, all of that, DPIN. Those are all things that I like for real world application and real world relevancy, because anything that happens in the real world in the IRL life, that could usually get tied into the crypto world as well and start to create big pumps. We've already seen it with AI agents. We've seen it with other different types of plays, RWAs, things like that. So they're being talked about. These narratives are being talked about. They're telling us what they like in the real world, and they can get applied to the cryptocurrency world. 2, tokenomics is very important going into this period of time. If you guys check out my ebook, The Essentials to Mastering Tokenomics, this will help you guys understand a little bit more. But tokenomics at this point in time, where we're at, is so heavily important. If we target an altcoin, it should be close to near to its end of the vesting schedule that it will have, or they should be a long cliff for when the altcoins will come out for their vesting schedule, right? I do not want to pick an altcoin where the vesting just is starting now, and we're going to use an example in this video here, one of my favorite altcoins too that we have to talk about in this video. 3, great partnerships, strong alliances, right? You can't move forward in the crypto world without some good partnerships. I like real world partnerships as well. So we're going to be looking at that to help us pick out some of these next gems. And if this is something that you guys want to use also as like your checks and balances, you guys can also use that, and let me know your favorite altcoins in the comment section down below following these 3 here. So as I said, the first one we're going to use that actually doesn't follow fully the checks and balances, as it only hits 2 of the 3, and the third that it doesn't hit is the very important one, right? So Plume here has pretty good partnerships. It has pretty good real world relevancy. As you guys know, they have partnered with the SEC. They also have that whole RWA narrative that is huge for them. So that is 2, but we're going to look at the vesting, which is just going to be starting. This is the reason why I want to skip on Plume. Plume right now is sitting at 1.5 cents. Right now it is down 89% from its max all-time high, right? Showing that this right now, once the inflation starts, the whole sell pressure right now, especially if we're in a bear market, is not going to be too favorable for Plume, right? Meaning there's going to be a lot more downside. Now there's an opportunity that we can look forward for Plume later on down the line, but you guys can see its all-time high was 24 cents, which was 9 months ago, and it is down 93%. And right now it is all close to its all-time lows right now, right? Meaning, so once that vesting starts, the lows is just going to keep getting lower So scrolling down crypto, you go on crypto rank, some of the altcoins you guys can actually be able to, once you sign up, you actually could look into investing for some of these altcoins, and Plume is one of these. As you guys can see, the ecosystem and community is going on for 3 years. You guys can look at the foundation going on. The community airdrop already has happened, but the key points that's going to be happening right now is going to be your early backers, which is at 21%, and your core contributors, which is at 20%. This is going to start in 32 days, and that is going to go on for the next 2 years, all the way up to January 2028. So maybe midway of 2027, it may look good. It depends. It honestly all depends on the overall market as well. But if we're in a bear market right now, the sell pressure that is going to be coming in, this is pretty much 41% that is going to be added over the next 2 years, and that's going to be huge selling pressure for Plume. And I'm telling you this as someone that got into the private sale of Plume, so I would be very worried about what's going to happen with Plume if we're in a bear market. So again, looking at the checks and balances, it does tick off number 1, it does tick off number 3, but it does not tick off number 2, which is going to be key for the health of the altcoin and for us to make some good gains. Now let's talk about some altcoins that I do like that actually kind of tick, well, they tick off all 3, right, in different phases, in different ways, right? So first we got Peak right now. Some of you guys may like it, may not like it, right? It has done nothing but dump, right? Right now it's just sitting under 3 cents, and it's going to look a lot better, especially if we're in a bear market and the inflation continues, right? It's at a $49 million market cap. You guys scroll down, its all-time high was a year ago where it did hit 75 cents. It is now down 96% from its all-time highs in terms of price. Now for number 1 relevancy, Peak is building out the next trillion-dollar machine economy that is going on chain, right? It is tokenizing robo farms, AI agents, IoT networks to create the new asset class, machine RWAs. Now you guys know, as we continue on into 2026, I've been telling you guys 2026 is the year of robotics. We already got agents out there, right? So a lot of the new AI, embodied AIs, physical AI, all of that is going to be talked about in 2026, and I believe Peak is definitely going to be able to benefit from that. That's where the real world relevancy comes in for Peak. 2, let's look at the tokenomics, right? Tokenomics right now for Peak so hot, but is actually more favorable than most, and depending on where we're going to be at in the bear market, right? If the bear market lasts for a year, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, Peak does look a little bit more favorable, especially at these levels, right? So you guys can look at private sale. Peak private sale is going to end around November 2026. So you guys can look at this. This is pretty much almost done, right? Same with the pre-launch private. This is almost done as well. And you look at the other one, pre-seed, it's over 50% done. And then lastly, seed is almost done as well. This is going to end in 2027. This is also going to end in 2027, right? But the closer we get to the tail end of this vesting, the less harsh the inflation is going to be for Peak, right? The only thing that is going to be huge is going to be the core contributors, but like I said, the closer we get to finishing the other things, the less harsh the vesting is going to be applied onto the sell pressure. Now for partnership, Peak actually has some of these best partnership in the game, from MasterCard to Boosh to other companies that are pretty much looking to build into robotics and big traditional companies. So Peak in that sense has great partnerships. So it ticks 3 boxes. Well, let's just say it ticks 2.5 boxes, right? We're going to say 1, real world relevancy, it fully ticks that. For 2, tokenomics, since it's not fully done, we're going to give it like half of a tick, right? And then 3, partnerships, it ticks that as well. So Peak right now is looking good in my opinion. Now Kite, I'm giving you guys a different way of looking at different things depending on how the market is, especially with the tokenomics, right? Kite is going to have different tokenomics from Peak, as this is at the beginning of its life cycle. So for Kite right now, you guys are seeing it max, it is down 36% right now. It's sitting at 8 cents, right? Market cap is at $152 million. FDV is at 847. So you guys are looking at this like, damn, EA, this does not look like it's going to fit number 2, right? We're going to talk about that. A lot of things for Kite is looking very good for the AI and stable coins being talked about, right? Your AI agent just can't open up a bank. Banks don't let software hold money or pay without humans in the loop. Kite AI is the first stablecoin chain where agents could transact independently with USDC and PayPal USD. This is where something I was talking about. I told you guys I believe that they're going to be using PayPal's, stablecoin. And that's going to be huge because there's not too many projects that's going to have the ties that Kite is going to have to like a big company like PayPal. And PayPal is looking to become its own bank, by the way. So AI agents, all of that is going to be huge in terms of real world relevancy, right? And then number 3, from backers, you guys are looking at PayPal. Again, they are backed by PayPal, backed by Coinbase, backed by Samsung, and backed by some other names that you guys can see. So it does have some decent partnerships and backers here, right? Now for tokenomics, let's look at number 2. This is where things may get a little shaky for it, but it also just depends on how the market is going to look at the time we're going to be at, right? Now, if the bear market lasts for about just a year and the vesting for this just starts within that, after that year, I think this has the opportunity to fight off the inflation due to its upcoming upgrades and things like that, the building that they're going to be doing. There's going to be some hype there. There needs to be a lot of money that inflows into Kite for it to offset the inflation that is going to be coming in, right? So this is why I'm showing you guys this, because this is a whole different like type of pick. It's going to play out. It's not going to play out as the same as all of them. We're going to have to be a little bit more cautious about this one, right? But if everything plays out the way that we want it, there's a potential we have Kite here as a pretty good play. As you guys can see, they do have a year cliff for the team. I would rather a 2-year cliff, longer cliff for the team. Let them not have their token for a while, right? But right now they do have a year cliff, which means the vesting for them is going to start around November 2nd, and that is going to be the same time for the investors as well. So we'll have to see how things will play out. But once again, this also plays to if we're having a bullish Q2, right? If we're going to have a not Q2, second half of 2026, or even a first half of 2026, Kite is positioned well, just because there's not going to be too much inflation that's going to be coming out in terms of the team and investors. Right now, if you're looking at for second half of 2026, the same thing applies, but then after that it gets a little bit tough, right? So we're kind of betting on 2026 still being bullish. Either it's the first half or the second half, but if it's not, that means we're going to have to see how long the bear market is going to last and where Kite is going to be. So this is still it's going to be up in the air. Now, moving on to something else like Ether here. This is also down big. It is under 1 penny at a market cap of $149 million. You guys can see about 50% in terms of outstanding token value. And then for FDV, there's a little bit, about just 3.5x compared to there, right? You guys go down. All-time high was a year ago where it did hit 11 cents. So now this is down pretty big from where it's been at, right? Checks and balances, relevancy, real world GPU, RAM, all of that is in high demand. And right now you're looking at a decentralized version, right, for Ether. And I think this is going to be big. In terms of number 3, it does have a pretty big partnership with Chainlink and a few others, but Chainlink is the one that I wanted to point out because I believe that is a big partnership for an altcoin this size. Now, number 2, tokenomics vesting for this actually looks better than most. Actually looks better than Peak as well, but you guys can see this. Let's look at it here, right? The team right now, they have about 12%, right? 12.5%, but this just started and it's going to end around 2028. So it's going to be a long time before they get their whole thing, right? But that's just 12.5%. While investors is pretty much done. They're going to be done by what is that? June 2027, right? We're close. This is pretty much at the tail end of that. And ecosystem, you got the ecosystem. This one is ecosystem development. This is also almost done. This is going to be done in June 2026. DAO Treasury, this has to go for a little bit longer, but you guys can see we're close to the inflation being pretty much done for Ether here. There's still going to be some that's going to be happening, but I believe this is looking like it's towards the tail end of it, where it's not going to be, the inflation isn't going to hit so hard for the price, right? It's not going to be, the sell pressure isn't going to be too crazy where either can't fight this, but that also depends on the overall market, right? This could go even lower, right? We kind of want it to go lower, and it gets closer to that, more closer to that tail end, and then once the bull market starts, this could start to shoot up and start to eat up more of the vesting that is going to be happening. These are 3 examples that I just wanted to use, all 3 in different stages of their life cycle in terms of tokenomics, just to show you guys the checks and balances for it. Right now, this is not all set in stone, because all of this can also change going into the next bull market. After we come out from this little bear period that we're in, a lot of things could change, where there's new altcoins that's going to come out that's going to look more interesting, right, with better and favorable tokenomics, probably even better partnerships, right, and probably even have better relevancy in real world. There's a lot that changed. None of this is set in stone. This is, you just got to be able to move with the times. As you know, the times come, new information provides itself, then you should be able to move with that as well. I just wanted to use these as an example, so you guys can look at the checks and balances, look at your altcoins in your portfolio. Does it tick the 3 boxes? Real world relevancy, tokenomics, and great partnerships. If it ticks that, you probably have a pretty good cryptocurrency gem, but we will have to see how the overall market accepts it and things like that. But you guys let me know, how are you guys creating your shopping list in the comment section down below. This is more so a discussion. Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We're on the road to 30K subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, YouTube.